Being an empath who loves hard. Well, let's start with what is actually an empath. An empath is someone who has the innate ability to feel and connect with others' emotions. Some people call empaths highly sensitive people. According to Psychology Today, an empath is an inborn temperament, while other research affirms that empaths can develop its temperament as a result of trauma from childhood. Empaths has an exceptional ability and is often revered for their ability to advise and listen to others. Due to this heightened sensory to connect to others' emotions, empaths have a high level of emotional intelligence and intuition. Though their ability to connect with others, at times it can be overwhelming for empaths due to the sensory overkill to the point where the stress impacts them physically and causes them extreme fatigue. According to Psychology Today, it is vital that empaths assert their need for personal space. If not, it can lead to severe anxiety and depression. Well, hi, my name is Miss Broadway Therapy, and I am an empath. Today, I'm going to share about what it's like to be an empath who loves hard, and I will be sharing this stage with my lovely co-host, Chloe, aka Draco. As we share what it's like to be an empath who loves hard, we also will share ways in which we live healthy, empathic lives. Let's talk. We're going to be talking about being empaths and loving hard. Okay. And so, just a quick introduction, just in case it's your first time meeting and joining in. My name is Keandra Broadway, also known as Miss Broadway Therapy. And my lovely co-host I have next to me. Have her introduce herself.
My name is Chloe Stripling, and AKA, Draco, Big Draco, not the little, of course, but yeah.
Yes, and we have a commonality, which is that we're family. If you can't already see it in the face already.
Twins, big
yes,
twins.
Yes. She is my niece. And so we have an age gap. I am 37.
And I am 20.
And so despite our age differences in generation, we both really connect on being empath. And so we're going to share a little bit about first starting out, what is an empath? So an empath is a person who intuitively tunes in to others' feelings and emotions. Without a person even saying a word, someone can empathize, kind of sense, feel, and articulate what the other person is feeling. Chloe, you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's pretty much just being able to know that don't have to always be something wrong with someone,
right? But that part.
Always being able to know what that person is feeling. Not always, but most of the time you can, especially if it's like a big gravitational pull. You're like, yeah, I can definitely feel what you're feeling right now. Mm-hmm. I can step into your shoes. It's being able to open your mind and be able to step into their mind and be able to know what they are feeling.
Yeah. And so to Chloe's point, you don't always have to be sad for us to connect with you. but we always are there to empower, encourage. And like I said, we sense, we have our radar. We can sense when something is going on. Yeah. And so one thing that we're really talking about is some of the I won't say the downsides, but kind of the downside. Yeah. The cons of being a empath. And Chloe, do you want to start before I start? Because I can keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say there's not there's a lot of cons, but there are cons when it comes down to being able to know how to use your gift, because essentially being empath is a gift.
Yes, it is.
So it's a lot of pros and there's cons, and at the end of the day, it's just learning a balance and learning how to use that, learning how to use your gift properly so that it doesn't affect you or drain you from your own energy at the end of the day.
That part.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of it. What it has to do is the biggest con.
It's the biggest con. It's the drain.
Yes.
we can pick up on someone's energy and emotions, feelings, and especially if it's someone that we know and we care about and they come to us, um, we are giving them all of us, and a lot of times people sense that and they pull from that because we are great listeners and great counselors and advisors. And oftentimes we take that back with us. Like even
Yeah.
if we finish having a conversation, it's still it's heavy on our heart, and we take it into prayer. We take it with us, and if you don't know how to manage it correctly, it can become overwhelming, especially if you have your own emotions and situations that you have that is also very intense as an empath. Your own emotions are extremely intense. And so if you're dealing with yours and also dealing with someone you care about, it gets very overwhelming.
Yes, and essentially too, it's just
Mm.
also learning how to set boundaries, healthy boundaries for yourself
Yes.
as well. A lot of people can take advantage, not intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
but can take advantage of your energy and be able to just like, okay,
Suck it up.
yeah, suck it all the way in because they have nothing,
Mhm.
essentially, if there's something going on, or if it's not, like, it doesn't matter, whatever the case is. A lot of the times, people unintentionally continue to keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and then no one is pulling back into you. So that's why you also become drained, because it's just like you're tipping with nobody putting a hose of water back into you or nothing.
Exactly.
So it's just really about balance and really learning how to do boundaries, how to be able to maneuver and be able to let go of the energy that someone puts onto you as well. Because, like she said, it's very easy to carry that energy with you. It's very easy to carry that on your back, and it gets really tough sometimes. So.
It does. And piggybacking off of what Chloe said about boundaries, one of the ways that I have learned and keep learning to set boundaries is being transparent about how I'm feeling, because I'm so used to being the rock and the one that or the well that people pull from, that I often don't share when I need the pouring. So one of the ways to set the boundaries is also share, so that people can also give back to you. Don't be afraid of being dependent and receiving, because we're so used to being the somewhat quote unquote saviors. But as Christians and believers, we're learning to relinquish that back to the Savior that we serve, and allow God to do the rest. And so boundary is definitely one of them. I would say is definitely advocate and speak up for yourself. Also retreat. Tell people I need a moment. I need to decompress. I need to call you back. Even if you can't feel like you can tell them what you're going through, or it's being too much for you, to say, hey, can I call you back? Or depending of course on what it is, but of course it's like if you need to set a moment, and if there's someone that is always blowing you up, you definitely got to set them a boundary, like kind of maybe give them a schedule or when to call you.
You don't even gotta tell them the schedule. Just make your own schedule in your mental, and just let it go.
And then you only you go by your schedule, and you call them when you have the energy, mental capacity. You got all your tea, your relaxation, your zen atmosphere, so that when you dial a number, you can tune in.
Yeah, but only when you're ready. It's all about you at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Because as an empath too, as well, you're not only just being strong for yourself, you're also being strong for a lot of people that comes around you.
Yeah.
And an empath, it doesn't come to everybody. Not everybody can be an empath at the end of the day. Yeah. So if you are given that gift of being an empath, essentially you're being strong for everyone. Yeah. And that becomes also another thing that can weigh you down. Yeah. But that's why it's very, very, very important to be able to have your own space, to have your own relaxation, to be able to be get poured back into with especially with God, because we're Christians, so God is gonna be the one that's gonna be able to give us that feel that we need. And it's important that you know that is where you can get your source from, that's where you can get your peace from, that's where you can get your energy from, your fire, all that stuff, so that you'll be able to continue to keep going on those assignments, to be able to help those people who are in need. And then feel good while you're doing it. Not feel like, oh, okay, here goes this next person.
Right.
Oh, dang. Now I got to think of this and this, that, and the third. It won't feel like that if you are able to get to that peace get into your room, get into that space,
and do it for yourself.
And do it for yourself.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Nurture that. Nurture your gift. Nurture your gift. That was a good point. And I would say that we also are very compassionate. You know, extremely compassionate. Where we will put ourselves in the fire with you. You know, we're very loyal. We don't like to see people hurt. You know,
we're gonna ride until the literal wheels fall off. Literally, literally every single time.
Every single time.
And it's like, and that's what comes with loving hard. And that's it for any individual who loves hard.
Yeah,
it's like you just want to see it through and see it to the end. But sometimes,
let's get into it. So now let's transition. Just perfect segue. So being empaths, what would you say is the challenge with loving hard as an empath?
As an empath, is because you're able to really look at that person and see the good and the potential in that person.
Absolutely.
When that person can't see it.
Yeah.
And so it's like your heart is pulling for them to see that potential, and you want them to see it so bad that you will do it at the cost of yourself. And it doesn't even matter. You don't even care.
Cost of yourself how?
Mentally, emotionally. If there's
Give an example.
There may be a situation where a person might be going through something just on their own, in their own experience in life. And within that, you might be dealing with that person in a relationship. They bring that to the relationship, and now they're taking it out on you. But being that you're an empath, you understand, okay, so it can't be me. So it has to be something else that's going on for you to be feeling like this. So I'm gonna just push aside how I feel, because I'm still hurt that you acted the way that you just acted. But I want to hear what you have to go on, and then they just trauma dump everything that they could possibly think of. They just trauma dump everything on you, and now you're just like, dang. Yeah. And then you gotta walk them through it. Yeah. Then you gotta help them with their own emotions, but no one's helping you with your own emotions, because you still hurt at the end of the day. And this is an ongoing process. I feel like a lot of people can connect with that. The fact that there is a lot of people out here who go through so much stuff, and are not able to get through it. And then you're also going through your own stuff, and you're not able to get through it, but you want to help that person get through it. So you will sit back, you'll put yourself in the back seat in order for that person to get to their potential and be able to walk through their own emotions and be able to feel that healing that they so desperately need. But the problem with that is no one's helping you with your own healing.
And that's what makes us, we got to be responsible for our own healing in that space when we're not getting it or receiving it for someone else.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, who's going to carry us then? Why everything got to be on me? Take care of them and then take care of myself. But then that's where God comes in, where we got to invite him to help us navigate that.
Because then you won't be doing it by yourself.
Right. And he will lead you to the right people where you can lean on as well. And so one example for me is with loving hard. It's hard to say. I'm recently coming out of a relationship. I've been coming out of a relationship for 7 months. So
and ain't nothing wrong with it either.
And so the initial breakup happened this past December. Of course, when you've been in love, you still hold on and hope. And so for me, there was still a lot of hope. There was a lot of I can now say false truths that were said that still gave me hope. But at the back of my mind, I knew it's over, and I needed all the validation, extra validation. Although, God gave me so many other validations based on actions. One of the things I like to say, I like to listen to your actions, not necessarily your words.
Yeah.
But what kept me in my 7-month breakup was the friendship. That's my biggest thing. Like, okay, if I can't have you as my significant other, you're a fixture in my life. You're tied to my family. You're tied to me. I'm tied to your family. Can we at least continue to be each other's confidants, continue to lean on each other? That familiarity of just having you around, of us sleeping on the phone together, of us you being my support system, my cheerleader, me being yours. And so that's in those 7 months, we were still doing those pieces of, oh, you got a job interview? Great. That's awesome. Oh, okay. You got this, great job with this happening. I hit it with your business. Da, 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 da. Still, it was still keeping me emotionally in a relationship that was over.
Right.
And as an empath, when you're loving hard, it's hard to give up, on that. It is. And in addition to me being an overthinker, when I initially got into this relationship, I overthought, and I at first was saying no. And then I put my walls down, and that person did things that convinced me that they were there for me, that it was a good thing. And um, and so once I made my calculated decision to say yes, now to say it's over, it's like, okay, we still got to figure out how this going to work.
Yeah, still try to work it together, and still try to push through regardless, because that's the biggest thing, especially dealing with someone, is that they start off so well, and that means that they connect with you on a deeper level, and deeper, like, in your heart, everything is in line, same mindset, we are good, like, I wouldn't really say it's a honeymoon phase. Honestly and truly, it's like literally we are one. We are literally thinking on the same page.
Yeah.
And sometimes things definitely do change. When things go along for a while, not because they change into a completely different person, but because now we're starting to see a lot more outside of the love.
Yeah.
Outside of just you being a broken person that needs help.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot more than just, we're seeing like all the habits you learned as you was in your childhood. We see all the learned behaviors. We see everything else that's going on with you. So all the things that may have already been there was already there. Now we're getting ready to see
it surface
and everything come out into one thing. And then there it goes again, that empath heart that's just like, okay, I can help you through this. We can get you through this.
Let's talk about how God deal with us, with not only seeing the other person, hey frog, what's up? But us being responsible for our empathic nature, where the reason why we stay, although we know what that person's challenges are and how they are mistreating our gift. They don't know it. So, hey, both frogs, what's up? Welcome. How? Because the reason, and I can go first, but the reason why I say that, because one of the hardest things for me was like when things start going south, and I felt, and I not even felt, in addition to feeling felt, but actually the action was happening where I was being mistreated and not as valued and appreciated and respected anymore. I still stayed because I still empathized with the situation that they were going through. And also, to be honest, with my own emotions, this is the part where God had to check me, was I didn't want to let go either. I'm loving hard because there's something that they did for me or doing for me that I'm still in love with. I'm still in love with the part that was where they was loyal to me. They actually gave me a reflection of what I felt like I often give as an empath. Like, they gave me back to me what I often give to others. Like,
absolutely,
they were picking up on my emotions when I wasn't saying nothing. Absolutely. They were telling me to calm down, breathe. Did you take your medicine? Doing those things where it felt so good and refreshing to receive that when our relationship was good. And so, although it changed and shifted during the 7-month breakup, I was still loyal to that part of our relationship when it was good, and hoping that part will come back. Can you speak to that?
Yes, I definitely can, because I'm in a situation right now just like that, and I haven't let go yet. So personally too, the same thing. This person had seen me for where I was, and we understood that we were missing a love that we weren't getting from other people, and we both trauma bonded to that. We both
Mhm.
really just flow off with that. We giving each other love. It was great. You know, it's kind of like a love bombing, but not love bombing because it's like, you know, we really wanted that type of love for each other.
Yeah, we both did love bomb for real.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, I just think about, even he told me like stop. Like I was going in. Like I was buying a whole bunch of stuff off Amazon. Every time he would come by and see, like, you know, you didn't. He was like, why? I'm like, I love you. Let me just be my best self and show you how I love. Yeah. And it was like, for real though. For real.
And then it just be
they was appreciative, but they, you know, they knew that I needed to save money, and so they was trying to be thoughtful in that area.
And the same thing for us. Like, we weren't supposed to be doing things that we know we was supposed to be doing, honestly and truly. And now we've gotten to that point where, now that I finally found God for real this time, and now that I'm learning that I need to put my love into God himself so that he will be able to get me through certain situations, I'm starting to learn that this other person was never the person from the beginning that I should have been given that type of love to. I was looking for God, essentially. That part. I was looking for God, and I put him in that place. Yeah. And all things just went all the way down. All the way down. It blew up.
That part.
And so
that part.
The part that I'm at, what she was talking about when it came down to the part that falling in love with the person that you used to know, that's where I'm at now. I fell in love with the person that I used to know, hoping that that person will come back and be the person that I knew them as, and that being my comforter when I wanted it. That person that was going to listen to me, that person that would encourage me, that person that would push me into another level, or continue to keep pushing me when I felt like I just couldn't do anything. Yeah. Now that person is God, who's pushing me through all those things. And that person now has basically taken that seat back from me. And not because I told him to, because he's just doing it. And, you know, it hurts. But still, that empath part of me and that heart still longs for that person to still be there, and still trying to give them that opportunity, that chance to still come back, and hope that they're going to continue to keep trying and give the effort to actually try to come back. But I mean, I feel like it really has to do with a lot of soul ties.
Soul ties, yes. Soul ties. And with empath, with soul ties, you know,
I feel like it's exemplified, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And I feel and that's why when God is winging us off, he helps us, because it takes us a while, because we feel it deeply, the grief deeply, the grief of losing the relationship, the things that also the grief of what could have been, would have been, and I kind of feel like everyone could relate to that, whether they're empath or not. And so when you were talking about this, like, just, you know, reposturing, repositioning where you get your source of love from. Yeah, that is something that we have to choose to do and constantly do, because until we open up and say and choose for God to be that, instead of it like we have to, like, okay, God, like, okay, they're gone now. Okay,
look, because I did that before in the beginning of this year. Yeah, when I was trying to look for God, I was like, okay, I know I have to do this. I know I need to read this Bible. I know I need to do these devotions every day. And then slowly that zeal, that went away. Yeah, it went away because it wasn't. Not saying that it wasn't genuine, because it was genuine. I wanted that relationship. However, my heart wasn't in the right place. It is so important that you put your heart in the right place, because if you don't, then it's very easy to fall off. But when that heart is like on fire, like, it's like, God, I am seeking for you and only you, and I know that only you can do this for me. Only you can love me the way that I need to be loved. Yeah, it's a different type of energy. It's a different type of fire. It's a different type of I don't even know the best word to say, but if you know, you know, at the end of the day.
You know, because having a relationship with God, so for some people it sounds, for some people who are not believers, or some people who are on the fence, or some people who have different beliefs, having a relationship with God, at least as we know it, it is very personable, very intimate. And it is not estranged. Like, it having a relationship with God is very intentional. Just how we are intentional about keeping our relationships fresh with people.
Absolutely.
Like, it is
Absolutely.
just like that. It's intentional, like with the devotions or listening to sermons, that something that keeps our focus to help us to understand and love God. We are made in God's image, and so we have these emotions, these feelings. You think they just come out of thin air? No, God gave it to us.
Yeah.
And so if we're made in his image, he has those same feelings as well.
Too.
Like, we never think of it like that, but it's true. And God wants us to be able to want to come to him because we choose to want to go to him.
Yes.
Just like in any relationship, I'm prideful, and I'm like, if you don't want me, bro, fine. It is what it is. I'm not gonna be desperate, or I'm not gonna chase you. I'm not gonna do none of that. I'm not gonna force this relationship.
Yeah, no.
It's like, you gotta choose to make it valuable to you. You gotta choose to make me valuable to you. You gotta choose that what you see in this is valuable. That's just, in similar way is God as well. It's like, don't only come to me when you need something, want something.
Don't use me as a genie.
Don't use me as a genie, or don't just blame me when you're frustrated, or
in a bad situation,
or in
and
a
now
bad,
you want me to pull you out
that you put yourself in, that part. But no, come to me because you really trust me.
Yes.
And I will say that out of the exodus of this relationship, has drawn me closer in my intimacy, or has strengthened my intimacy with God. Why? Because in addition to trying to heal from the breakup, it's less about blaming the other person, but God, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
God,
yeah,
help me understand me.
And so let me know some, cause
yeah. And it's very hard, especially when you feel like the person has done some offenses, and God really has to help me, because certain things, bruh, did. If it wasn't for Jesus, if it wasn't for Jesus, if it wasn't for Jesus, if it wasn't for me being a child of God, I belong to God, of him, of God, that I'll probably be in jail. I'll probably God used this opportunity for me to make a decision, saying, Keandra, do you want to use your energy as an empath, your gift as an empath, to get yourself out of this, or stay in this situation, or do you want to rely on me and help you to nurture that gift that you have, and understand why you feel things so intensely, and the emotional connection and the soul ties? Do you want to help you wing you off of this situation?
Do you want to have faith in me? Like,
that part.
Are you gonna? What you gonna do? Like, you gonna let me have your life? Are you gonna surrender it to me? Like, are you gonna do everything, all of those things, and give it to me? Yeah, for real.
And even with winging off, like, I thought, like, okay, God, so nothing on top. It's like, if you love them, it's okay to love them from afar. It's okay. But that's where you setting the boundary as an empath. It doesn't mean you got to be cold hearted and just be like, I don't love them no more. Bye. Cut them. I mean, if this cutoff is healthy for you, then you need to do that. But still, it doesn't mean that you don't have to deny, or be in denial that you still love that person. And if you love them from afar, you can still pray for them from afar. If you get to the forgiveness part and wish them well, I'm still on a struggle bus with that one. And that's good. But if you love it, like, that's the way you can still release that empathic gift, where you have the permission to still love them, but you're doing it in a healthy way for yourself.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing, because I'm in this part of my life where the Holy Spirit is really dealing with me in my heart about unforgiveness. Unforgiveness has been my entire being. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you met me a couple months ago, all you could see from me was anger, bitterness, and just being downright mean, like, all the time. It didn't even matter what the situation was, even though I was, because they don't, thank you, Holy Spirit. The best thing that I can say too is that God gives us gifts, and he doesn't take our gifts away. Not that he can't do it, because he can, but he doesn't take our gifts away. So even when I did not have a relationship with God, I still was able to move in my gift of being an empath. That's the biggest thing, to write it off that part where she said about, are you going to use your own gift for yourself? Are you going to do it yourself? Because you see it's not working out, right? You see how much hurt and pain you're going through, right? that's why it's so important to have God in your life so that he can teach you and lead you and push you in a way to know how to use your own gift. And the fact that it's just like, it's insane. It's honestly, it's like your mind gets blown. But like I said, we're getting back to what I was saying about the unforgiveness part. I was so ready for God to literally change my life, whatever it was. When my mom told me that she seen me in those chains to unforgiveness, and she seen me and like, oh, I want to change, like I want to get somewhere else in life, and she told me that part, bro. I have never been like, God. I didn't even say God. I just like, I don't know how to forgive. I don't know what to do with that.
But that was surrendering.
And that was.
Yeah. You finally stopped relying on yourself.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And literally, God literally came in, swooped in, and picked me right on up. And it's like, you know what? I got you. This is my time. This is my moment. Yeah. I got you. And he's been showing me. And he's been having me. And I love him and continue to keep being grateful and thankful for that. And it's very important that you are grateful and thankful, because it's just like taking like a I don't even know, a 24K bracelet or whatever the case may be, a tennis bracelet or a tennis anklet or whatever, like, and then not saying like, oh thanks, you know, like it's a both way street, like really trying to be intentional about how you're going through this, how you're going to love God back, because you don't want it to switch the roles, to switch around. Now God is helping you out, and now you're not loving God back. That's not how that work. You know, it don't feel good. God feels the same emotions that we feel, and that goes for anything. That goes for the people who harm us. God is angered and sad just like us, because but in spite of all of that, because he gave us free will, which is very important that you understand what free will means at the end of the day, just being that you'll have your own free choice, just like you have your own free choice to be able to get a little off track.
But no, it ties in. So the biggest thing as empath is to be open to receive help and open to lean on God for your source of energy and source of restoration. And speaking to the gratitude part, you know, really, you're able to be grateful when you understand the value of what you're grateful for.
Yes, absolutely.
It's easier to come out that way. Like for me, in the midst of the breakup and everything else, I'm going through different things. And I realize that yet, although I'm going through these different things, God is still keeping my mind. And so, and I know that God is still making a way, for me in financial ways and other ways, like, and so that for me, I say thank you. I acknowledge that, because it's like, I know it ain't God, it's only you that can be doing that. So it's like I value and I appreciate you, and you're keeping my mind, keeping my sanity. And so it all ties together when you talk about being an empath and loving heart, really seeking a source. And if you are an unbeliever, you know, I definitely want to tell you, if, you know, try God, try him out. And also, you know, make sure you have, if you're reluctant, make sure you have someone that is healthy for you to lean on.
And then also, what I also hope for me too is starting off with like, God, how do you think? Why do you think the way that you think? Who are you? Show me who you are. Allow me to see who you are as your own being. And I swear, God loves that. He loves that. He will soar off of that, because it's not you asking like, oh God, can you help me with my financial situation? God, can you help me in school? God, I know I need to do this right now, this PowerPoint, and be able to give this presentation. God, can you give me the best presentation ever? Like, that's that genie part. No. Start off with learning who God is. Who are you, God? So that you can be able to start off a relationship that way. That's like how you would start off a relationship with anyone who comes up to you or introduce themselves to you. Like, they'd be like, oh, my name is blah, 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 blah. This is what I do. The same thing. It's the same thing, back and forth. God is a real being, guys. Like, for real. Like, when you're going to seek for his face and you're going to seek for his voice, he's going to respond back to you regardless. It's not going to be like somebody literally sitting there talking in your ear. but
Yeah.
through your thoughts, God is
Mhm.
strong. God is intentional. God is very
Mhm.
loud. Not
Mhm.
loud, but
Mhm.
he's loud. And all you got to do is just focus and hear him. God
Mhm.
speaks to you, whether it's
Yeah,
in your
be
mind,
intentional.
where
Yeah.
it's on signs, where it's around you, where it's from a person being used as a vessel. God
Mm.
speaks.
Yeah.
He wants.
And when we think about love, it says love is patient, love is kind, it is not envious, it is not boastful. That takes a very strong person to exercise God's type of love. And empaths definitely, we do temper on that. And one of the gifts, the fruits of the spirit, there's peace, love, joy, and
Self-control.
control, and long suffering.
Mm-hmm.
All the other ones sound nice, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
It sound real nice.
That long suffering
But
sound different though.
then one thing when you said then it's long.
And
It can't be
long,
short.
yes.
It can't
Right.
be short.
No, it can't just be suffering. It's just long.
So if we were to go to because we're gonna give you a little bit of Bible too. So if you go to James 3, it says, "Count it all joy." That's the fruit of the spirit. When you go through trials and tribulations, because it worketh this perfect patience within you. Patience is another virtue where you lack nothing, and that means you are so content with life, your situation, good or bad or indifferent, that you don't need for anything because you're good. God will take care of you. You're confident in the fact that God will take care of you. You're not relying on yourself, your source of gift as an empath. You are just relying on God as your source and resource. And so, in the long suffering, it builds you emotional strength. Strengthens your emotional intelligence, strengthens
Yes,
your spiritual
absolutely.
intelligence. It strengthens you. Talking about the baby in the back.
Yeah.
Talking about, and it's not a real baby, it's a dog. Y'all don't. So it strengthens you. And so long suffering, it sounds okay. All right. Hello, praise the Lord. Whatever green thing you are. And it long suffering helps build your strength internally.
Right.
And you're able to be more self accountable. You're able to love openly, release those resentments, learn how to forgive, learn how to be responsible for your gift of self control, not to be easily angered. All of those lovely things.
And one thing that and we thank you, Pastor Jerry Flowers, you've been bringing this through. But Jerry Flowers said that when you focus on one fruit of the spirit, everything else is literally going to follow. All the other stuff is going to follow.
Yeah, she's fine. No, she's fine.
She was wagging her tail. Okay, anyway. But yeah, everything else is going to follow. But that's only but first start off, like I said, with the part with seeking for God.
Okay.
Because God is the only one that's going to be able to walk you through knowing how to use the fruit of the spirits and be able to learn how to. But just start off with I'm telling you, just start off with saying, God, I just want to get to know who you are. I just want to get to know you. Yeah. And from that point on, you're going to soar. You're going to soar. And I'm a living testimony. Just like just a week ago, I want to say a week ago, I was just, I had a sense of where I wanted to go. I had a sense of that I wanted to stop being angry and bitter, but it took a deliverance for me to actually get to that point and actually be able to walk in that and be happy and be free. I used to cuss 24/7, and I can literally say that I probably now can go through the entire day without having to say one cuss word. And if I do, it's one slip up and I say, God, please forgive me. But like literally, God has been changing me every day. And I'm not saying that I got it all together. My auntie's not saying that she got it all together. We are still learning projects, and we are still learning, and we're still learning through experiences. We're still learning through everything around us.
Yeah, you have to walk in humility, and humility takes a strong person.
Very strong.
The world has it backwards, where it says, you weak if you exercise humility. But it takes a very strong person to have a self-assurance within themselves, where they don't have to prove themselves to others, or respond to everything, turn the other cheek. Ooh, so they can slap the other cheek. Ooh, that take a lot of strength.
Take a lot.
A lot of strength. And so, and circling back, and I know circling back around, you know, really being intentional with relying on God is one of your biggest assets as an empath, is to really trust Him with your gift and seek Him to understand it more, seek Him how to set boundaries, seek Him in how to nurture you when you're hurting and when you're drained out. I know for me, my grief is has lasted long enough, and I'm finally at a point where I can not only just talk about it, but also really move on from the previous relationship that I was in. And when just kind of give you some context about grief, there's 5 stages of grief, and the first stage is denial. I was probably in denial for 7 months. First stage is denial. The second stage is bargaining, where you like, okay,
I can see why they did that.
Oh, why? We can be,
but I really
we can still be friends.
Right there.
We can still be friends. That's the bargaining. We can still be friends, but we still act like we're in relationships. That's the bargaining piece. Then it's anger. It's like, I can't believe this relationship. Oh, I can't believe he did that. Oh, I can't believe he ain't trying to go in the same direction I'm going. I can't believe, and he's having anger too. Like, I can't believe she ain't trying to go in the same anger and same way that I'm going. So there's denial, bargaining, and then anger. Then after anger is depression. Depression is usually the state you stay in a little bit longer when you are in the 5 stages of grief, because you begin to start accepting what is. And so you get very sad about it. And, you keep trying to fix it in your mind, like, but why can't it go this way? Or, and just become very down that the reality or the funeral of what you once had, like you begin to grieve at the funeral of what you once had, like the future that you began to build is no longer a reality. So now you got to have a funeral for it. Like, I always consider heartbreak as a death. And you have to go to the wake of what was, right, what could have been, and you have to, and it's one of those silent killers, man.
It really is.
And this thing called a heartbreak syndrome. Like, that thing is legit. Like, people who've been together for a long time, but one person died soon after the other spouse died, or the significant other died. Like, that stuff is real. And it's like, when you're grieving and you're going through depression, get help. Yes. I had to get help. Thank God, I've had more than one counselor at one time. And thankfully, I still have a counselor now that is really helping me pour into my empathic side, but also helping me get through, coach through, be spiritually accountable to my feelings and emotions, nurturing those feelings as well. And so depression is the 4th thing. The last thing of grief is acceptance.
It's acceptance.
And acceptance means that, doesn't mean that you still don't get sad, still don't mean you don't, but you're more stronger, where you can now begin to move forward.
Yeah, and it doesn't affect you as hard as it was in those other stages.
Yeah.
And, as she's talking about these, it's even like, I think about it too as a testament to me, because I have gone through all those stages.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah,
all the stages.
We all do.
But definitely, I can say the same thing. I went through all those stages within this relationship, and not even I've come to the part now that I've accepted.
Yeah,
that person is dead and gone.
I'm dead and gone. Even the person I was is dead and gone.
Right.
Even the person that was holding on, and speaking of the holding on, when I can think about the 5 stages of grief: denial, bargaining, anger, depression, and acceptance. So one of the reasons why I was still holding on, I guess in the bargaining phase, in the anger phase, because I feel like all of them was happening in tandem, and depression phase was because I felt entitled,
right,
to that future that me and my ex was building,
and
I wanted a return on my investment.
Absolutely. And it's not to say like, oh, I put in this money with you, so I expect you to spend that money back to me, or whatever. It's not like that. It's not like that, y'all. Promise.
No, return on investment is emotionally.
Yeah.
Return on investment of the future that we began to build. I have shoes over here that my ex gave in hopes of us having children. That I'm bring into the pit. Now, I don't think I'm ready to burn them.
But it's
because
a
it's
step.
emotional, but it's a step.
Yeah.
But I have pictures though. I have pictures of us that I am going to burn, because that's a step of accepting that what we had. Remember, I said I was loyal to that person of who he was the past 7 months. Although we had broken up, I was still loyal to that version of him and in love with that version of him. I have pictures of that, pictures during that time, and so I'm bringing them here to burn them and saying that I accept that this is no longer my future anymore.
Yes.
So you have to, make drastic steps. I'm also a life coach, and also, um, trying to practice what I preach, And
Right.
so one of those things is, making those drastic measures. Sometimes you need to do drastic things. And for me, being an emotional sap and empath, I need to do those type of
very,
things.
very sentimental. Very, very. And it's nothing wrong with being sentimental. I love people that be sentimental.
I know.
I wasn't saying like.
I was like, where's she going? Where's she going? Where's she going?
She's very sentimental, and it don't work for everyone. Burning stuff up. Me, in my crazy past, I like burning stuff up. I like blowing things up, and I like smashing things. That was the thing that helped me to get rid of somebody. But
yeah,
she's letting us know that she wants to go inside.
Yeah,
we're not going inside.
It's okay. No, she's good. She wants to be a part of the video.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and sometimes it is healthy. There's anger rooms where, whether you're empath or not, sometimes you need to get that energy out.
You gotta go somewhere.
Go somewhere.
Because you don't want it to be let out.
She went to an anger room.
I did.
And
I went to an anger room. It was elating. I ain't gonna even lie. Like it was everything that I imagined it to be. The energy. It's like a crazy jolt of adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
That word. But it was so helpful, honestly and truly. Like it was something that I could I felt good getting this out somewhere else than getting it out on someone else. That should be good for any human. Any human cares about not harming another human. I don't care what you say. Okay? So empath or not. So being able to have a healthy area where you can let out those frustrations, where you can let out that anger healthily, it's going to help you so much because you will feel better at the end, like for real.
Yeah.
Like I promise you, from a former hothead, that type of energy and letting it out on someone else don't make you feel better. I still be angry at the end of the day. I'm still angry until the next week. I'm still angry until the next month because I'm still remembering how you did that and that you made me feel the way that you made me feel. But now that I'm in a place where God is allow me to let that out in a healthy manner, I feel 110% better. That energy is being put in somewhere where it's positive. And I also have a counselor too as well. I forgot we got to mention that too.
Yeah.
And being able to let that into a person that is trusted, that knows how to work and cope and give you the coping mechanisms to get through certain things. That also helps too. Big advocate on therapy.
Troy Law.
Shout out to you.
Shout out. He's at both of our therapists.
Yes.
So, yeah, shout out to him.
Yes, he's amazing. Not saying you need to come and get my therapist, so.
Okay. Gotta work on
it. Definitely get a therapist. Get someone that you trust. You don't even need a therapist. If you need someone that you know is what you trust, that you know is not going to go and repeat the information that you have and is going to give you sound advice, not the yes man. The person that's real. Go to that person and be that, and let them be the person that can help you get through things. Not everybody can afford therapy, and luckily God has been giving us and we've been blessed to be able to afford it. Yeah. But just the options, guys. Just the things that you can. But God is not an option. God, you need that. That's an automatic. That's just
it's
it.
Automatic.
Automatic.
You do seek Him. You do see His value and what He can be in your life, and you'll see His value and what He can be in your life. And so hopefully these were good tips for you as far as being an empath. And if you're not an empath, hopefully it still was something good for you as well, and tying it all together. And so you got to hear our single experiences being an empath, our single experiences with our relationship with God, and how our relationship with God has benefited us holistically. emotionally, spiritually, mentally, relationally.
And most importantly,
Yeah,
to realize that you're not alone.
that part.
As an empath or not,
Mm-hmm.
there's people out here that I know, even if you're not an empath, that there's some things in this video that you can definitely take from.
Yeah.
Because everybody feels these
We
same
all
emotions.
have these same single experiences.
It's the
Absolutely.
same. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So just
yeah, and I you know, and it was pressed on my heart to share this about. I'm 37. I never married, and I don't have kids. Chloe is my niece child, and so and I still aspire to be married. And I still aspire to have kids if it's, you know, God willing. One of the things that was difficult in my last relationship is that I had the opportunity to finally have my dream fulfilled as well, as far as um, having the opportunity to be a mother, where the person I was dating has children of his own. I've dated men before with children. This was the first time where I got to be involved in the children. I've met other exes' children before, but never had the opportunity to really be involved in their lives. And so during the period where things were good, I was able to be involved in their lives, and like I told him, I didn't want to just come in and be like, I'm the mother or I'm this or that. I wanted to be something that I earned with them. I just respected that space because they have a mother. And so treading that waters was difficult. I also wanted them to have the cousin experience. So his children is close in similar age to Chloe's younger siblings. And so I was like, okay, yes. Oh, finally get everything is happening.
Yes,
and so
going
everything
right.
is going right. And so I will say in my grieving period of this last 7 months was also letting that go. Like, okay, then what this is going to look like? Will I, am I less valuable because I don't have kids? Society already beats me up in that area.
Right.
Like I can, if I was a, you know, single mother, you know, things probably will be, I don't know, like, you know, better because people are like, oh, okay, you got a responsibility, you know, but just because I don't have kids, people assume that I don't have responsibilities. All I do is focus on Keandra, which is so not true.
Right.
And given with the nature of me just being a giving person and being an empath, I'm always giving of myself. And so trying to find value in myself, although I don't fit societal norms. And hopefully this is reaching to someone else who probably find themselves in a similar situation. We are valuable. We are important. And it's very important that we nurture ourselves and still find our value despite what society says what is valuable. Or what a relationship or past, you know, relationship will say, you know, you're less valuable because you don't have kids. One of the things that haunted me in my grieving period was that like maybe my ex went back because, you know, I don't have kids or I don't think I understand what it means to be a parent. And so those things I have to lay with God. See, those type of deep things, empath or not, you know, it's where God has helped me to stop beating myself up and stop being hard on myself and relearn what my value is.
Absolutely.
And so, and part of that is the associating with what I think I should have or don't have, and realize what I do have and appreciate that for myself. So make sure you continue to feed yourself the things that you do have, the things, attributes about yourself that are beautiful and valuable. And so, because we can be our own worst enemies. So making sure you nurture that and protect that. What your values are. Anything you want to speak to?
Yeah, definitely on that part. Like even it's not intentional beating yourself up. It's honestly an automatic response because you be like, dang, like why did I do that? Like, oh, like you know, but it's important that to recognize that you're doing that to yourself because it's not doing you any good.
Yeah.
All it's doing is hurting you more. It's hurting your heart more. It's hurting your brain. It's hurting your soul, your spirit, everything else that you
deep down into depression, more and more deep into grief.
Yes, and I'm telling you, and the only way that I finally got out of a place of depression was when finally God delivered me from that depression.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think, honestly, there would have been enough therapy for me to get out of that mindset that I was in. I didn't even realize I really was in a deep state of depression until now.
Mm-hmm.
But absolutely.
Yeah. Like she's barking for a reason. Let's see, or growling for a reason. But yes, there's we try to make sure we good.
Covered by the blood of Jesus in Jesus' name.
But yeah. So I think
the blood.
One of the things I always like to do when we wrap up is give takeaways, or call to actions. If there's any takeaway from this video, definitely put it down in the comment section. And I would like to give a call to action. We're both going to give a call to action. So empath or not, but if you're loving hard, we want you to love yourself. Well, I'm going to say what my call to action is. My call to action is to love yourself just as hard as you love someone else.
Absolutely.
That's my call to action. So what is your call to action?
I can say the same thing too with that, but also honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to think, but my call to action would probably be really knowing yourself.
That's good.
Learning yourself, who you are as a person, and then really pinpointing those emotions and those unresolved feelings that you feel within yourself.
I think that's so good, because once you discover who you are, the less likely someone can take advantage of you. Because someone can see your value and you don't see it and just take advantage of it because you don't realize it. Or someone could lead you to a path that's not you.
Absolutely.
You know, so if you know who you are, then you're able to have an anchor so that when things try to pull you in a different direction, you can still remain who you are. And you can also begin to nurture who you are, so you continue to evolve and grow in who you are once you find. So that was a good one. Find out who you are, for sure.
Thank the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
I had my brain blank.
And so, yeah, that's good. So we got both call to action. So definitely, as Chloe said, discover who you are, learn who you are. And my call to action is love yourself as hard as you love anyone else. Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining us. And this concludes this episode, third episode. All right. We out.